Okay, hi everyone. So we are here with Saher, a student from Career Launcher Mumbai. Saher has got an All India rank of 15 in the CLAT 2025. So we're going to have a quick chat with her. This is going to be a great session for students who want to target the coming CLATs in 2026 and 27. So welcome, Saher, and congratulations on a stupendous achievement.
Thank you.
Uh, yeah, okay. So we'll quickly look at your journey in terms of how it started and the challenges that you faced and some learnings that we can give for the students who are writing the CLAT next year. So let's start with your journey. How did it all start? When did you decide that you wanted to pursue law?
So after my 10th grade, I knew I wanted to do something in the humanities. And I picked up law partly because I did not want to do JEE or NEET, and partly because, you see it in almost every field. You see it in sports, you see it in entertainment. It pervades every single aspect of our life so much, which is what attracted me to the profession.
Okay. So you started preparing what? Immediately after your 10th got over, right? Somewhere in May, June last year?
Yeah, I joined Career Launcher then.
Yeah, this was in May, June 2024 or 23,
23. Right.
right? Okay, so can you tell me, acha, for the benefit of the viewers, so you have taken humanities, right? And what
Yes.
subjects have you taken in humanities?
I have sociology, maths, computer science, and economics, along with English.
So that's clearly ISC board,
Yes.
right? Okay, so this is a question a lot of parents ask me, right? Which board to take? Should they go from, because a lot of students are from the ICSE board, they shift to the state board at times, or they stick to the ISC board. Was that a thought, or you were always clear that you wanted to stick to the ISC board?
I don't think it makes much of a difference, except for the fact that HSC might give you more time. But I think they also have more extracurriculars on the side, so that might eat up more of your time.
Hmm.
ISC, the board doesn't really make a difference. There is no direct correlation with what is being taught in the 11th, 12th grade versus what is being asked in CLAT. It's just about how much of time management you're comfortable with.
Okay. So how was your first 1 year? I mean, did you set any goals for yourself? Because I remember you telling me that you attended the Achievers Meet.
Yeah.
This was back in 2023, right? So any goal you kept for yourself for standard 11th, or like most people tell me that 11th was a honeymoon phase for us and we didn't take it too seriously.
No, I didn't really take it seriously. I just attended classes. I did what like they told us to do, like solving the sectional tests, the practice workbooks, etc. We were also told to focus on our math. I did some of that, but not like full throttle completely. Like I did in the latter stages of say September for the real CLAT.
So when did the seriousness seek in? When did it start? You got this feeling that now it's high time I need to start taking it more seriously.
I think after my 11th finals, I realized like CLAT is near, so I have to start now. When the months countdown started, like 11
So,
months to go, 10 months to go, and so on.
so that would be around May, April, May.
Right.
And that's when you would have attended the second Achievers Meet, right?
Yes,
After
yeah.
your toppers. And that again was probably one uh, knock to say, okay, high time now, 6 months to go,
Hmm.
right? Okay, so you started taking the mocks probably somewhere in the month of Jan Feb. That's when the mock started, but you became serious somewhere in the month of April, right? So by then, where were you in terms of marks? Because I know you've always been a good student. You've never been a student who kind of came all the way at the end, right? You've always been stable. But how was the journey in terms of individual sections? Any section that troubled you? Um any section that was worrying you at that point of time?
Like all the sections troubled me at different stages of the preparation. Initially, GK was easy, then GK became difficult. Then in the middle stages, math was a bit challenging. So I never had a strong section to rely on. So I had to work on all of my sections throughout the journey.
Okay. So, but any one section that you thought was more challenging to kind of overcome the problems, or you felt all sections were okay?
I think legal, I used to get the yes or no of the options right, but the reasoning always was, my reasoning was always off, I think.
Okay. So anything specific you did for that? or was it the mocks?
So I figured out what kind of questions I was getting wrong. So if I was getting questions wrong in contracts, I would go back and read the theory on contracts, solve some practice questions, and figure out where the
Hmm.
fundamental gap in logic was coming from. And then I would solve the mock again, and then I'd realize, okay, this is where I went wrong. Because it used to be a very thin line of error, right?
Hmm.
It's a very thin line. So,
Yeah, and a lot of people blame it on luck.
yeah,
You think
sometimes
the
it
luck
is. I mean,
you feel luck plays a role, or you think no, it's not. It's definitely not luck. It's something you can work on.
it's not entirely luck. A part of it always is. Uh, but like control all that you can control.
Okay. So let's look at the mocks, right? Uh, how would you look at the role that the mocks played? Because we found a very strong correlation between um, people writing more mocks and scoring more in the class. There's a very strong
Uh,
correlation. So, in your case, how did it go? What was the role that the mocks played in your preparation?
so I'd already been told by everyone before I started writing the mocks that you have to write every single mock. So I think there were about 50 mocks, and I wrote almost all of them, barring I think the last AILET mock. I wrote all of them at the center during the allotted time. The ones I did not write at the center, I wrote at home. I think it's very important because once you write the mock, you get into kind of the environment. There's a certain time pressure. It's a pressure to get those questions right. After you're done with the mock, there's a certain, even during the mock, you feel bad or you feel good about the difficulty level, etc., which is very different from doing sectionals or just doing random practice questions. Then
Hmm.
after the mock, there's mock analysis, and sometimes you get questions wrong because you were not in the right mood, or because the people around you were talking or something like that. So the environment matters as much as what you know. So it made a big difference, I'd say.
Sure. And so we did these three mocks at what we assumed would be a CLAT center,
Yeah,
happened to be changed. So, but you had to go all the way to Powai to
yeah.
write those mocks. Did that play any role? Did it help you to kind of travel all the way there? Was that more challenging, or it didn't make much of a difference to you?
No, I think the biggest difference it made was on the day of CLAT there was a huge crowd, but I was already accustomed to that crowd because during those three times I had seen, frankly, a slightly bigger crowd at the center, so it didn't daunt me or intimidate me as much. And that center in Pawai, I actually got it for my AILET, for my real AILET paper, so that
So
helped.
your
That
actual
happened.
edit was in MNLU.
Yeah, not
No,
MNLU.
not
I think
MNLU. Sorry,
Chandravan Sharma.
Chandravan Sharma. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was your actual elite center. Okay, great. So in a way, a familiar venue at some point. Okay, so now that we have gone through the process, let's come to the D-Day, right? So what was it like in the last few days before the CLAT?
Uh,
Uh, I mean, this is the time when you have to be mentally very strong, right? I mean, you don't want a poor score to affect you. So can you tell me how was your last 15 days of the pre-CLAT preparation?
So the last 15 days, I went through all the previous mocks I'd given, especially the GK and the math. I resolved all the math, almost all of the math questions, especially the ones that were a bit different or difficult. Then, using the topics that had come up as GK in the mocks, I researched a bit more on them. I resolved all the CLAT PYQs to be familiarized with the logic CLAT was using. Uh, and that's basically all I did because I'd stopped reading the newspapers before, so it was just revision and trying to be calm.
Okay, and then now let's come to the D-Day. How was your D-Day experience like? Your center was
Uh, Mulund, it was in Mulund.
Mulund, okay, and that was like a good 30-minute travel, 40-minute travel for you?
45 minutes, yeah, almost an hour.
Okay, okay. So can you tell me what are the couple of things that really helped you on the D-Day? Any routines that you went through that helped you on the
I
D-Day?
I mean, I broke all the rules people tell you to. So I studied GK on the day off. I studied GK on the way. I should not have done that. I don't know. It gives you mental satisfaction. So like
Hmm.
whatever. Then I didn't really talk to anyone like in the room because people are talking a lot. People are talking loudly. I just kept to myself. I tried to be excited and looked forward to the paper, not in a sense of dread, but anticipation as to like I was excited as to what they would put in the GK section or math, etc. Like as a fun test of how much I know, etc. So to keep it
Hmm.
very low stakes and trick your brain into thinking that it's just another mock, it's not that important. So yeah.
True. The mental toughness is important. And one thing I'm sure a lot of people would want to know 1 year down the line when they see this year's paper, how did you deal with the AR set that was wrong, right? And I think this is becoming quite regular in CLAT. So, as a topper, how do you deal with a set where you know there are 6 questions at stake? You solved it; it's not matching with the answers. Um, I know a lot of people have actually spent a hell of a time and came out cursing. But what was your story there?
So I'd been told by almost all the teachers, all the students, everyone that CLAT makes some mistakes every year in the question paper while making the questions. So going in, I knew that it would not be a perfect paper. There would be mistakes in the paper itself. So I start the paper with logic, and for me, that was the last set in logic. I made the circle once, I made it twice, and when
You
I didn't
start with
get
logic.
it, yeah, I start with logic
Okay,
because it's my
so that
weakest section. So I start with the worst. I did it twice. I didn't get it. So I didn't know. I was a bit conflicted, but then I eventually moved on because there had been a ton of papers where I kept on doing stuff which I didn't know, and I lost time in the sections where I did know, and I could have gotten marks. So the past
hmm,
experience of doing the mocks really, very instinctively, I just left doing that set. I went back to whatever I was doing. In the last 10 minutes, I tried to figure out something, and I marked some options. I just moved on.
okay. So how is the feeling now when you got that time? The feeling when you got all in the rank 15. How was it?
I wasn't expecting it at all. It's mostly relief that it's finally over.
What kind of expectations you had set for yourself? Top 200?
I mean, yeah, I was hoping that I would get a good rank, but not as good as like I'd gotten. I was expecting I would probably wiggle out a good NLU through the vacancies somehow. Like people leave good uni for whatever they want.
Okay.
So yeah,
So it's now Bangalore for
yeah,
you. You'll be joining NLS Bangalore, right? Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So, just a final question now. So, how was your overall journey with CL last 1.5 years now? I think it's technically over now because
yeah.
although we will be having classes for MHCET and the other exams, I'm sure for you the technically the journey is over now. So, how was this journey?
I think it was wonderful from start to end. I mean, I remember like the very first orientation I had at CL. I think it was you, and like I thought I was always pretty good at general knowledge or current affairs awareness, but then like the questions you threw at us, I still remember the question of what's the longest coastline in India, and Gujarat really threw me off. So I went back to my books. I researched a lot. It really shows you how ignorant you are of your own ignorance. So like towards the very end, like there was doubt solving. I remember you sat down with me for 3 hours and solved very stupid math doubts. Then there was Namrata ma'am who, like, there were people crying like a week before CLAT, and she really calmed us all down and told us it's okay. So like from emotional support to like giving us really good practice materials, I think the CL mocks were literally the closest to the CLAT we got. So it wasn't anything new because the CLAT this year was very simple logic, but a lot of people I know applied very convoluted, very complicated GMAT, LSAT level stuff, and they got the questions wrong. So I think
Hmm.
it's not about how advanced stuff it's about you have to cater to the paper at the end of the day. So, like in all aspects, I think it was a wonderful journey with you.
That's great to hear, Saif. So hopefully we'll be meeting soon. We'll have some celebrations at the other center, hopefully next week, for all the guys you've done well. And then we'll have our Archivers meet again, where hopefully this time now you will be inspiring the other kids for their journey towards CLAT 2026. So thank you so much for your time, and congratulations to you and your family once again for a wonderful achievement.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.